And this gentleman here want to go over there, but they don't allow visitors. Because it seems as if them learn them lessons, so when they mix and mingle, problem take them. So them say, listen, we don't want nobody come over here, brethren. We come across to people, but nobody comes across to us. It says that they were willing to make an exception in the near future, so we have to test you out first. However, on account of their need for education, for though they spoke Hebrew, they could not read or write it. So this was passed down orally through the years. Would Montezino send them 12 bearded men to be their teachers? He said he would. The four strangers returned to their canoe, paddled back across the river, and disappeared from view. Francisco told Montesinos all he knew about these people from his own traditions. Watch it now. It said that his ancestors, so this is Francisco telling him what he hear about these people, you know. His ancestors, to their eternal shame, had indeed made war on them and persecuted them. So that's why he made the remark when he said that, listen, these Indians with the Spaniards are killing. They deserve it, because he's saying that they abused the Israelites in time past. And he said the most holy of people. So he's telling you know what they did. He said they persecuted them. And he said only the sorcerers of his tribe. So he said there was a sorcerer among us, my people, who was persecuting the Israelites, who perceived that they were a special people. And he had warned my people that they should be left alone. Leave these people alone. And he said that the sorcerer said, the God of these children of Israel is the true God. They had said, and everything inscribed on their tablets is true. So they had tablets with the writings on it. Look how it continues. He said, at the end of days, they will be lords of all the nations of the earth. One nation will come, bringing many things to this land. And after we have all been provided for, these children of Israel will go forth from where they are now and reign over the whole earth as they once did. And with this final flourish, Montesinos had turned his tale of the lost tribes into a bit of propaganda for the Dutch conquest of Brazil. So here is a book giving good history, good account, people telling you how the story come down. Them boy nowadays say how the badness come down. But you never learn this in school, huh? They tell you that Christopher Columbus discovered the Western world. And they call it the New World. But yet still when him come and find people. Another book. Mysteries of Mexican Pyramids. And if I had the time, I would show you that wherever you found Israel enslaved, you would find pyramids. You have pyramids in China, you know? Yes, man. You have pyramids in South America. You have pyramids in Egypt, and the pyramids serve a purpose because they are built, they are designed in such a way that when the sun crosses the equator for the year to begin, it casts a certain shadow. So the Israelites would know that a new year has begun. Wherever you found Israel in history, you found pyramids. Anyways, we look at this book now, The Mysteries of Mexican Pyramids by Peter Tompkins. One page we're taking from it. So in a manuscript written in Quiche in 1554 by several Maya Indians. Ever hear about the Mayans? Its Spanish translator, Padre Dionisio Jose Cone, had this to say. This is what the man said, no? It is supposed in the manuscript, by the way, the Quiche manuscripts have been authenticated. They're manuscripts that were found in this part of the world, outlining instructions and rules on how a certain people conducted themselves. Have been verified. We don't learn these things in a virgin. This thing is there for you to go and research. It's a valid document. He said it is supposed in the manuscript that the three great Quiche nations, so there are three nations among the Quiche people, mentioned in particular are descendants of the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel, whom Shalmaneser, same man again, reduced to perpetual captivity, and who, finding themselves in the confines of Assyria, decided to emigrate. Now, the same thing we read in the book of Ezra. That they were taken into captivity and they decided that we're not staying here, we're going to a land where never mankind dwell. See, there's a book that was found all the way in Mexico, Bridget. All the way in Mexico. Ancient book. The actual text ran. See, they're reading it now, they translate it. These then were the three nations of Quiche, and they came from where the sun rises. Where does the sun rise? In the east. Where is Israel? In the east. Descendants of Israel, of the same language and the same traditions, customs. Why you don't know about this book? Another one, Titulo de Totoni Kapan. I think you make your bite tongue. So this is the name given to a Quiche language document written around 1554 in Guatemala. The Titulo de Totonicapan is one of the two most important surviving colonial period Quiche language documents. In the 1953 translation by Delia Goetz, she says, the said manuscript consists of 31 quarto pages, but translation of the first, watch this now, translation of the first pages is omitted, them take it out because they are on the creation of the world, of Adam, the earthly paradise in which Eve was deceived not by a serpent but by Lucifer himself as an angel of light. It also deals with the posterity of Adam. You know what is posterity? Is picking them. Following in every respect the same order as Genesis and the sacred books as far as the captivity in Babylon. And them take it out. The manuscript assumes, hear them now, no? The manuscript assumes that the three great Quiche nations with which it particularly deals are the descendants of the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel, whom Shalmaneser reduced to perpetual captivity and who, finding themselves on the border of Assyria, resolved to emigrate. So all of a sudden, when it reached to the people being Israel now, you know, it's an assumption. So like the Popol Vuh, the Titulo, the Totonicapán, describes all the ancestors of the Quiche, watch this now, traveled from a mythical location referred to as 7 caves, 7 canyons, to another place called Tulansuya in order to receive their gods. When Yahweh said, when you put them over there, what they're going to do? Serve other gods. And from Tulansuya, the ancestor traveled east across the sea to the highlands of Guatemala according to the titular. The Patulan, Pasivan, 7 caves, was in the other part of the ocean where the sun sets. That is the west. They were the descendants of Israel, of the same language and the same customs. And when they rose from Patulan, Pasivan, the leader of the 3 tribes, look at his name, was Balaam. Somebody over here so no have no business. One Indian man have no business with the name Balaam. Balaam is a Middle Eastern man, no so? In and around the region of Israel. Don't. Indian man no have no business with that the name, brethren. The first leader of the Kiche people had the name Balaam Kitse. When they arrived at the edge of the sea, Balaam Kitse touched it with his staff, and at once a path opened. You ever hear this yet? Which closed up again, for thus the great God wished it to be done, because they were the sons of Abraham and Jacob. If you have these historical documents that have been vetted and verified, and there were cultures, let us say, all right, there were cultures that claim to have been Israel. You're not supposed to teach it, brethren. Don't. Just like how you go in Israel and go claim to be Israel. Don't. But it don't work like that. The conspiracy against Israel. Another book, Origins of the American Indians, European Concepts, 1492 to 1729, by Lee Eldridge Huddleston. Look what Mr. Eldridge Huddleston said now. Despite the Jewish descent of the Indians, their remoteness from the old world freed them from any guilt in the death of Christ. Because them never did it. Them left long time, him say. The man said, despite the Jewishness of the Indians, their remoteness from the world, remoteness means that them they far not easily accessible. Him said they are guiltless in regards to the death of the Messiah. Them not even know about it. They're too far. Can't blame them. And they're ready, watch this now. Their ready acceptance of Christianity from the Spaniards argued well for them. And in a time to come, when I have time, I'm going to show you how Christianity is used to enslave you. That religion is used to enslave you. Christianity is the only religion in the world that killed the people if they didn't join. Only one. Go check it if you don't believe me. The only religion in the world that kills people if they don't join. And it's for a reason. Because they had to push an agenda that Israel is no more. The Muslims will never tell you that Israel is no more. They will fight for it and tell you that it belongs to them. But they will never tell you that Israel is no more. Anyways, although they were once idolaters, Vasquez argued, we must, look what the man said, we must judge them as one of the noblest peoples on earth. This conclusion seems inconsistent with an adherence to the Issachar variant of the lost tribes theory, but Vasquez gave no evidence of concern over a possible inconsistency. James said, it's inconsistent, but the man said, go on, because you don't give no evidence, say it's inconsistent. You just jump up and ball out, say it's inconsistent. The only other writer this author found who accepted the Issachar variation of the 10 lost tribes theory was Balthasar de Medina in his Crónica de la Santa Provincia de San Diego de Mexico of 1682. Although Medina thought the South Americans and Yucatecans were descendants of the Gentile father of Ophir, the Mexicans, he said, were descendants are originally of the 10 tribes captured by Salmanasar, and of the family of Issachar, whom the Indians recognized as their special ancestor. So them say when you come amongst the Indian people, them tell you that they are from Issachar. Who is Issachar? Jacob's son. And if you don't believe me, Watch this. Genesis 46:13. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Pua, Yob, and Shimron. And there is a place in Mexico called Tula. Coincidence? Cow no have no incidence. Where is cow? Cow they are bush. What is cow doing in bush? Eat grass. No have no incidence. You no have sense. Look at this now. The Bat Creek stone. Bat Creek stone. It's a stone that they found buried with some Indians. And when they check, I tell you what them wicked now. Watch it now. So when them check the remains, they said that the remains are ancient remains from before Christopher Columbus. But they want to tell us that the stone was planted there. Columbus put a stone there. Bat Creek stone, look at it. So the top one is a contrasted image. This is the original image at the base. Do you see that writing? Does it look familiar to you? We are going to be the scientists and the anthropologists and the linguists and all these people today because we have minds. You have a man on social media and talking, say, in my mind, and we have minds of our own and we can think for ourselves, right? So we don't want any expert today. We're going to do our own analysis, right? Lovely. Watch it now. The Bat Creek inscription is an inscribed stone tablet found by John W. Emmert on February 14, 1889. You're going to see a thread, a common thread as we go along now. You're going to realize that the men who find these things, they go at lengths to discredit them. So if the person is, let us say the person is an anthropologist, they say that he's not a good anthropologist. Yeah, he's not one of the good ones. See it here now. Emmert claimed to have found the tablet in Tipton Mound 3 during an excavation of Hopewell Mounds in Loudoun County, Tennessee. This is where? America. This excavation was part of a larger series of excavations that aimed to clarify the controversy regarding who is responsible for building the various mounds found in the eastern United States. In the 1960s, Henriette Mertz and Corey Ayub both noticed that the inscription, when inverted from Thomas's orientation to that of the above photograph, instead appeared to be ancient Semitic. What is Semitic? A Middle Eastern language, no sir? Hebrew being one of them, Arabic being one of them, Aramaic being one of them. So they said this writing is Semitic. One heap of controversy when you start to read this thing here, brethren. People said, listen, this is not Hebrew, this is Cherokee. Some experts come and say, this is not Hebrew, this is Cherokee. You don't know Hebrew. You don't. One only by excitement. So I said, listen, I'm going to look at it for myself and see if I can make sense of this thing here. So anyways, them continue. Watch it. The 5 letters to the left of the comma-shaped word divider read from right to left. And it reads LYHWD or for Yahuda. It reads for Yahuda. He noted that the broken letter on the far left is consistent with mem, in which case this word would instead read for the Yahudim. A new petrographic analysis of the stone by Scott Walter and Richard Stelly of American Petrographic Services concludes. Some pages don't tell you this. Say some other man come later down now and come examine the thing, He said that our geological findings are consistent with the Smithsonian Institute's field report written by John W. Emmert. The complete lack of the orange-colored silty clay residue in any of the characters of the inscription is consistent with many hundreds of years of weathering in a wet earth mound comprised of soil and hard red clay. The inscribed stone and all the other artifacts and remains found in the mound with it can be no younger than when the bodies of the deceased were buried inside the mound. So no, they cannot dispute the age of the stone. So they dispute the language written on the stone. On your right, my brothers and sisters, is the Cherokee alphabet. On your left, to the base, is the Hebrew ancient alphabet. Let us look now and see which language is found on the stone. Tell me if you see anything on this stone that you can find over on the right. I waited. Find anything yet? Yeah, look good. Look good, man. Because we have to be realistic. We have to be fair. We have to be just. All right, look to the base now. So remember, Hebrew read from right to left. So you'd start from here to here. But let us take it right here now. Where is the mouse? You see this? You see it? You want to work with me? It look like this? Eh? Okay. You see this? It look like this? You see this? It look like this? You see this? I tried to find them. I think this one is this. And then we have this, which is one of these. This one. No, this one is this actually. And then we have this, which is a Same, which is this. So you tell me now. If you're going to work with the learned men, are your own eyes? And tell me if that is not Hebrew. And the man already tell you what it reads. For the Yahudim. For the Jews, the real Jews. It looks so. Look at it again. This is a Cherokee inscription on a wall. Tell me if this look like this over here. So. This language look like when Jingbang write up something, don't? This look like when Jingbang I learn to write and Jingbang scribble up paper. Don't. Tell me if this and this is the same thing. So it means then that whosoever was buried there was what? Hebrew. In America. Before Christopher Columbus. Anyways, I have more Newark Holy Stones. These refer to a set of artifacts allegedly discovered by David Wirrick in 1860 within a cluster of ancient Indian burial mounds near Newark, Ohio. Now believed to be a hoax. Them said it's a hoax. The set consists of the keystone, a stone bowl, and the Decalogue with its sandstone box. The site where the objects were found is known as the Newark Earthworks, one of the biggest collections from an ancient American Indian culture known as the Hopewell that existed from approximately 100 BC to AD 500. And we know that Yahusha, they said that Yahusha died must be AD 34, don't? So that means that these people were there before Yahusha come about. The first of these artifacts, popularly known as the Keystone, due to its shape, was excavated in June 1860. Unlike other ancient artifacts found previously in this region, the Keystone was inscribed with Hebrew. It contains one phrase on each side. So the Keystone, 4 writings on it. One read, Holy of Holies. The other read, King of the Earth. The other read, the Law of God. And the other read, the Word of God. See that? So here you're seeing the top-down view of the stone. It says, Kodesh, Kodeshim, Holy of Holies. This is Hebrew, brethren. You can't go around this. Look at this writing here. This is Hebrew. This is the shin that gives you the sh sound. This is the kaf that gives you the k sound. This is the dalet that gives you the d sound. Kodesh. That's Hebrew, brethren. You don't need a scholar to come and analyze this for you to know whether or not it's Hebrew. To the right, it says Melech Eretz. Melech is king. Eretz is earth. King of the earth. Melech Eretz. Here to the left, at the bottom, it says Torath Yahuwah. See there? Yod, He, Wav, He. Yahuwah. Toroth. This is the Tet. Or the Tav, sorry. Resh. And Tav again. Found where? In America. Today, right at the bottom, Debor, Yahuwah. Debor means word. And Yahuwah. Dalet, Bet, Resh. Debor. D, B, R. Debor. Hebrew don't carry vowels. Debor. Yahuwah. Yod, He, Wav, He. Even if them find it 1860 pastor, wait a do they. Wash when I flood. Hey, sometimes you can't buy that bread, you know. Then you have the Decalogue stone. Comes from the translation of the Hebrew letters that outline the religious and moral codes described in Exodus 22 to 17 and Deuteronomy 5, 6 to 21, which refers to the Decalogue or 10 commandments. So the 10 commandments, the 10 words. The inscriptions being on the front, at the top of an ark above the figure of a bearded man. The bearded man is wearing a turban and a robe, and he appears to be holding a tablet. And it runs down the left side, continues around all the side, and makes its way back to the front of the right side to where it began. This pattern indicates that the inscription was meant to be read repetitively. Right above the figure of the man is a separate inscription which translates to Moses, giver of the law. See it here? Mem, Shin, and the other letters that forms the name Moshe. Moshe. See him there with him turban? And right around it, the 10 commandments. Huh? The mantle? The robe? The robe, it said? The turban and a robe. Right around it, the 10 commandments. See there? This one they couldn't dispute. None at all they couldn't dispute this one. They just admitted that it was Hebrew, but they said that it's somebody planted. Somebody planted. We have more. The Los Lunas Decalogue stone. Different place again too. This one is an inscription, is an abridged version of the Decalogue, or the Ten Commandments, carved into the flat face of a large boulder resting on the side of the Eden Mountain near Los Lunas, New Mexico, about 35 miles south of Albuquerque. The language is Hebrew and the script is the Old Hebrew alphabet with a few Greek letters mixed in. Look at it. So the rock broke off, fell. Somebody went there and wrote on it. And they said, based on when the rock broke off, years and centuries ago. And the geologists go and them test the rock and them say, a long time this broke off. And the carvings are equally as ancient. But it right upside down. So them turn it over. And when them read it, the Ten Commandments. See a man go there with it. And they found these and other stones. They don't tell you that they found these and other stones there above. Written. This is Aleph. Which brings us back now to our brethren there from last week. James Adair. Famous man who wrote the book. The one who went to live amongst them. And while living amongst them, he realized that they were Israel. And he came up with 23 arguments as to why these people are indeed Israel. So let us look at it. James Adair book. Argument number 1. The American Indians divided themselves by tribes. As the Israelites were divided into tribes, Mr. James Adair says, and they had chiefs over them, so the Indians divided themselves. Each tribe forms a little community within the nation. And as the nation hath its particular symbol, so hath each tribe the badge from which it is denominated. If we go from nation to nation among them, we shall not find one who does not linearly distinguish himself by his respective family. But when you read in the scripture and it says, this one, son of this one, that's how you identify yourself. And he's saying that it is the same. Each person identifies himself by the tribe or their family. When Yahweh said, call the people by their family, let them come by the family. And then let them come by the tribe. And let them come by the this. Man living among them said it was the same. Argument 2, which is the strongest. They worshipped. He put it as Jehovah. But when you read, you're going to see what they call him. Worship of Jehovah, he wrote in the book, because he didn't know any better. By a strict, permanent, divine precept, the Hebrew nation were ordered to worship at Jerusalem Jehovah, the true and living God, and who by the Indian is styled Yahuwah. Sound familiar? What you call him? Yahuwah. And they say Yahuwah. I will tell you that the wav gives you either a E sound or a O sound. So they say Yahuwah, we say Yahuwah. Coincidence? They don't tell you these things. Style Yahuwah, which the 72 interpreters, either from ignorance or superstition, have translated Adonai. So when they're translating them, pastor, them write Adonai. Them not write Yahuwah. Same thing when them do with the Bible. They did it to these people. Same thing. Remove Yahuwah and put the Lord. And it's the very same as the Greek kurios, signifying Sir, Lord, or Master, which is commonly applied to earthly potentates, without the least signification of or relation to that most great and awful name, which describes the divine essence, who naturally and necessarily exists of himself without beginning or end. When Moses said, "Who must I tell them sent me?" He said, "Tell them that I am hath sent me a higher, a higher." Same here. Yeah, yeah. Tell them say Yahya sent him. What do Yahya mean? I am whatever I want to be. You don't put anything on me. Same thing the man that say here, the great and awful name exists of himself. The only creature that is independent. Argument 3. Notions of a theocracy. You know what is a theocracy? You are ruled by a god and not by kings or men. Agreeable to the theocracy or divine government of Israel, the Indians think the deity to be the immediate head of their state. Isn't that what Israel was supposed to be when and they said that they wanted a king? All the nations of Indians are exceedingly intoxicated with religious pride and have an inexpressible contempt of the white people. So them hate the white people unless we expect those half-savage Europeans who are become their proselytes. Nothing is the worst favorable name they give us in their set speeches. So them call them the nothings. Even the Indians who were formerly bred in amity with us and in enmity to the French used to call us in their war orations Hotok Uk Prus. The accursed people is what they called white people. But they flatter themselves with the name. They call themselves Otok Eretupa, which means the beloved people. Because their supposed ancestors, watch this now. Why did they call themselves the beloved people? Because their supposed ancestors, as they affirm, as it was passed down to them, and they are telling it to him now, Mr. James Adair, were under the immediate government of the deity, the God, who was present with them in a very, very particular manner and directed them by prophets, while the rest of the world were aliens and outlaws to the covenant. Tell me if this is coincidence. Argument 4. Their belief in the ministration of angels. Mama said angels are authority. Them are the original people.